Are you looking for help with your rest and recovery, wanting to optimize your sleep and prime performance? Well, NuCalm is built on neuroscience, and it's been used by special operators, BORTAC, pro sports teams, and many, many more for years. To learn more and access the best deals of the year, go to nucalm.co/grit. That's NuCalm, NuCalm.co/grit. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests of this show do not represent their employing agency, department, or organization. All information should be regarded as anecdotal, contextual, and educational, and should not be misinterpreted as legal or medical advice. Welcome to Blue Grit Radio, the podcast that explores making better cops for a better community. I'm your host, Eric Tung. I've been an active police officer since 2007. We will dive into the aspects of police culture, health and wellness, leadership, and mindset. You'll hear from experts not only from policing, but all industries as they relate to being our best with purpose, passion, and positivity. Join me as we share stories, lessons, and advice so we can all be better for ourselves, our teams, our families, and our communities. Welcome back, everyone. We frequently talk about health and wellness. We talk about burnout, rest and recovery. We talk about how to prime ourselves for optimal performance in this career and in life itself. So with all that, we're going to talk about all that. And today I'm very excited to welcome Jim Poole with NuCalm to talk about technology, cutting edge. That's been around for a bit, but still cutting edge. It's definitely leading the way in all these ventures. So Jim, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I say NuCalm, people are already, if they haven't read the show notes, and some people don't because they're just listening in, like, tell us about what this technology is. We're talking about it's something so much more than like a listening app. You know, people are more frequently aware of these different apps that might help them with rest or sleep or breathing. I'm just gonna turn it over to you to kind of take it away and intro us into what we're talking about today.
What is NuCalm is a loaded question with so many diverse ways to answer this. And the first answer, just me authentically speaking, this is magic.
Hmm.
And it may be even a miracle. It's incredible what's been developed, and it's so necessary in today's world. Today, we're in crisis. We know we're in crisis. We are stressed, and we're hanging on by a tether. And we feel it. We see it. We see it everywhere we look. In law enforcement, you see it in the behavioral patterns of the people in the community, the decisions they're making. A lot of times they're not in control of decision making. So stress has become such a challenge for people to emotionally regulate on a regular basis. Most people have lost control. So NuCalm was born out of necessity, Eric. And why I say that is there was a brilliant neuroscientist, quantum physicist, naturopath, literally the smartest human I'd ever met. Just exceptionally gifted on the intellectual side, but he had Asperger's. So a lot of the stuff he did is going to be internal. And in 1990, he began a quest to try to figure out, how can I help complex trauma and addiction? How do I help that profile where their frequency is going too fast? They're never in a state of peace. They're distracted all the time. They're vigilant all the time. Their sleep architecture is compromised. They're a mess. Instead of just giving them a hug, because there's no safe place on this earth for that brain, the conventional therapy is to give you a narcotic-based pharmaceutical, not to address the problem, but to suppress the central nervous system.
Yeah.
That's not helping anybody. So Dr. Holloway, who himself was a victim of significant sexual abuse as a young child. So I think he carried that burden with him, and I think it's what drove him. He spent 19 years of his life, Eric. Think about that. 19 years trying to find a way to help downregulate the stress of the complex trauma brain. And here's what he created. The brain can be managed, like your brain wave, can be managed through visual stimulation or auditory stimulation. So he built this software, and the software is very complicated. It's got pitch and frequency matrices. It's got binaural signal processing. It's got isochronic waveform. It's got nonlinear oscillating algorithms. It's a lot of stuff. Why? Because your brain is complex. Your brain doesn't want to be managed. Your brain needs to be tricked. Your brain has an exceptional pattern recognition capability. Okay? So he built this software And with headphones,
Hmm.
you press start on a mobile app and you hear music. Music is beautiful. The music in NuCalm is beautiful. Music has no impact on your brainwave frequency. If you're really stressed, if you have cancer, if you have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, complex trauma addiction, worry, fight, what doesn't matter? Music cannot change your state. It can elevate your mood, but even then it's fleeting. You're only amped up or relaxed for a little bit of time. You put on headphones, you press start, and this science paces your brainwave. We're using your ears like a Trojan horse
Mm.
to present your brain with a signal like an old school thermostat and say, hey, Eric, you're at 25 hertz right now. You're agitated, you're distracted, you're impatient, you're not functioning well. How about if we just dial you down? Like rubbing your back and giving you a warm cup of milk. Okay. And then within 4 minutes, your brain is levitating at this state called theta, which is the healing zone of the human body. This is the restorative aspect of sleep. So in daytime, you find a safe, comfortable place. You put an eye mask on because you can't get into that state of healing visually stimulated. You put headphones on. You listen to beautifully composed music while our science takes you to the same state that monks get to after years and years of meditation. So if this sounds like magic and a miracle, I believe that it is, but this is 35 years of neuroscience in practice.
Yeah, thank you for that in-depth view in really efficient time, to cover a lot of ground. I've done a lot of reading, I've done a lot of experimentation and use of NuCalm, and so we'll get to that a little bit too, but just to rewind back a little bit, I feel like how you laid the landscape out to the chronic stress, and right, you're talking about people not being in control, and it's not we're not removing ownership, but it is recognizing what we are increasingly more fluent in first responder work, which is that amygdala hijack, right? You're just
Yes.
so overwhelmed. It's people that we encounter in crisis, and sometimes it's ourselves, right? It's when we're impatient and we're like, holy cow, how did I just snap at my kid for no good reason? Because I've been working 3 14-hour shifts in a row, right? And that hypervigilance that you spoke on, that I feel like a lot of first responders listening in are going to be like, oh my gosh, is he like, is he watching? Is he watching what I'm doing literally
Yes.
in my day to day, week to week? And even with that focus, I mean, you talk about what the music can do and what the auditory stimulus can do for you. And I just want to introduce this, which is that, as I've said before on the recordings, I've messed around with different apps. I've experimented with meditation, with yoga nidra tracks, and there is value in these different things. But even with something like listening to music that I really enjoy and is calming, and there's a time and place for that, I find myself with kind of that streaming ADD where I'm like, oh, I want to listen to this music now, and I perk up and I'm looking at my phone again. I'm scrolling. I'm like, oh no, I want to listen to that album. Oh no, not this song. Next track, next track, next track. Whereas when I can put on something like 20, 30 minutes and really zen out, like truly zen out, really relax in my bed with an eye mask or in the hot tub. Sometimes in my bed, I've fallen asleep, kind of dozed off, which is like valuable too, because I know I've been so under recovered. So I just want to throw out a little personal anecdotes there because it is something that truly feels very different than the things I've used before.
It feels that way, Eric, because it is. I've been running this company for 16 years. So you can imagine 16 years ago, people weren't even talking about recovery. They
Hmm.
certainly weren't talking about sleep. In fact, it was a badge of honor when I was a Wall Street banker. Hey, I only sleep 2 hours. Well, I only sleep an hour and 45 minutes a night. So
Yeah.
things have really changed. But in that change and in capitalist society, when there's a void and there's a need, stress management, anxiety management, and sleep, there's been a proliferation of gizmos and gadgets and apps. We're not an app company. We're a 35-year-old practicing neuroscience company. So for you listeners out there, what we talk about with NuCalm sounds too good to be true. I get that. I was as skeptical as anybody. I didn't understand what the scientists had built. When he tried to explain it to me, I understood it even less. And I was like, I don't know what's happening here. But here's what's happening. We are a neuroscience company. We have 52 of the world's leading academicians and scientists on our advisory board. We have the only patent in the world for balancing the nervous system of a human being. It took us 5 years of research studying stage 4 cancer patients versus the Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup champion hockey team. Research done at Harvard Medical School and NASA. We have the only patent in the world for a method used to elicit a state change in a human brain. We took our company through FDA Class 3 medical device. We took NuCalm through Health Canada. We took NuCalm through a 13-month study with the United States military for approval. So we are not an app company. I, as a visionary of this company, chose to find a way to take a $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device and make this accessible, affordable, and easy. And we began that journey in 2016 because it wasn't good enough to me for us to just support the DoD, Special Forces and Navy SEALs, BORTAC and BORSTAR, the FBI, professional athletes, pilots, and doctors. It wasn't good enough. There's more people for us to serve. So why is this different? When you listen to music, music is amazing. Say you guys go to the gym and AC/DC is your jam. Mm-hmm. And the first song's Highway to Hell. And you're pumping, man. You're doing your curls.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, yeah. The next song, Shoot the Thrill, and it's even better. And you're like, yeah. But by the third song, your reticular activating system, your brain's pattern recognition machine, says, you know what, Jim? Brian Johnson sounds the same in every song. And Angus Young's licks are beginning to bore me. Mm. You know, when you go to a concert, at some point in the concert, you're like, wow, even if I don't have to go to the bathroom, I'm going to because I'm getting bored. So our brain has this reticular activating system which figures out all patterns. That's why as a human species, we're all creatures of habit. There's no such thing as a second first impression because you're evaluating everything and this reticular activating system finds patterns. So you can, if you want, download any 99-cent binaural beat app. Go for it. The first time you listen to it, say it's for focus and it's 18.4 hertz. First time you listen to it, it's amazing. Second time you listen to it, it's pretty good. Third time you listen to it, nothing happens because of the simplicity of the beat. So Blake was not an audiophile. He wasn't like, hey, let me find something cool and build an app. He was a neuroscientist on a quest to help solve complex trauma. And here's the secret sauce. I'm going to let your audience know how and why NuCalm is so different. There's what's called a nonlinear oscillating algorithm in the physics platform. Your brain will never figure out the pattern because it's never the same. It's dynamically flowing. So, right. Eric, when you've done rescue, you'll notice your mind wanders. Well, part of that is you're in that lucid dream state. The other part is your reticular activating system's following the pattern, but it's not linear. So that's how we did this. So let me just take a step back here, if I may, and just share with the listeners. Let me share with you how your brain works. This is information we probably should have learned in like third grade. Everybody's brain is made from the same parts. We believe we're unique. There's 8.4 billion people on this earth, and your brain is made of the same parts. You have an amygdala, Eric. Oh, what a coincidence. So do I. You have an HPA axis. So do I. You have a forehead. So do I. Our brain is made of the same parts. And in this brain, our behavior and our mood and our thinking is directly associated with the frequency of our brainwave. And everybody's brain operates in the same range. 41 hertz frequency range, 5 categories. The slowest frequency range is 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz. You need to have some frequency or you're dead. 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz is dreamless like deep sleep. You're literally drooling in your pillow. 4 hertz to 7 hertz is theta, the healing zone. Now, why is it called the healing zone? Because in this state, your cells clean their toxins and do their cellular maintenance, and your mitochondria is restored. This is the energy source for your cells, and your cells have a job to do. This is why humans must sleep. If you were not to sleep for 12 consecutive days, you don't wake up on day 13. You die. Well, why is that? Because you need the theta brainwave healing during sleep. Alpha is 8 hertz to 12 hertz. It's creative. It's falling into sleep, being in the zone. And then beta is where we live when we're awake. 13 to 15 hertz is you're awake, but not really that excited to be awake. 15 to 20 hertz, you're focused. There's a specific frequency where your brain isn't distracted, you're intentional, and you're focused. It's 18.4 hertz. Then comes the faster frequencies, and this is going to make sense to you. 20 to 25 hertz. My brain's going fast. I'm distracted. I'm agitated. I'm impatient. I'm easily triggered. I'm sweating. My heart's palpitating. My breath is shallow. 25 to 30 in law enforcement. This is the frequency of a lot of the people, a lot of the perps that you're interfacing with. Their frequency is going fast. You can see in their eyes they're distracted. You can see flush on their neck. You can see the salivary response. 30 to 38 hertz. Unfortunately, many people in law enforcement have witnessed this. This is a pure state of shock. When you look into that person's eyes, they look like a shark. There's no life in there because they're cognitively unavailable. Their ears still work, but their brains are not functioning. They are in shock. And then beyond the highest level of stress is this sweet spot called gamma, 39 to 41 hertz, which is associated with meditating like a monk, which seems really crazy to me. But it's also activating your gross motor cortex, your sensory motor rhythm, your olfactory, and your ability to think with absolute certainty. This gamma is a product on our app called Ignite, which we've been serving the elite military special operators, the FBI hostage rescue team, and 78 professional sports teams since 2016. They had private confidential access for 5 years before the public did. It amplifies you to the state of certainty. So with that being said, what we created is a software bed with a mathematical matrix underneath music. You just dial what you want. You want rescue, we take you to 4 hertz. You want deep sleep, we take you to 0.5 hertz. You want flow state, we take you to 7.83 hertz. So that's the magic and the process of what Blake invented. It's incredible. And here's the thing I appreciate the most. It's physics and math, Eric. It doesn't care. It doesn't care your age, your gender, where you live, your disease state, who you are, why you're here. It doesn't care. It's just math and physics. You press start and it directs your brainwave to an outcome. And that outcome, your body does exactly what that outcome is for. So when you're in rescue, you'll notice your body feels heavy. You're falling into your bed. Your mind wanders. You may skip on, in and out of sleep. But then when you get up, you're like, wow, I feel amazingly grounded, but mentally clear. You just meditated like a monk and you didn't do anything. You laid down, you put an eye mask on and a headphone.
Yeah, I really appreciate you walking through the different modes, kind of categories, right? There's the relaxation, there's the sleep, there's the ignite, right? So you're getting in that high drive kind of focused performance level, and there's also kind of just the flow state. And so I brought up kind of the distracting nature of listening to songs and flipping through. That's also true for like studying. Like I've been reading, and sometimes I like to put on something instrumental, but then I'll recognize the melody, right? And so my brain is now anticipating the melody, and then I'm thinking about, oh, I like this melody. Who is this? What's this composer? Oh, is this a pop cover in piano form? I like this pop cover. What song is that again? Who sings it? And so I think that really resonates with a lot of I don't have ADD, but a lot of our first responder types, whether they do or not, it resonates with them, right? We have that we're constantly thinking about something else. We get quickly distracted, and that makes us really effective at things, but it also makes us ineffective at things, right? Trying to multitask all the time. And so I wonder if that's part of the magic, right? Because even with and I love how you said magic, because I think not to go down a rabbit hole, there's a very fine line between magic and science. It's just what we've discovered or not, right? Whether we can articulate it and then have a proof of concept or not. But anyway, to pivot back, with Yoga Nidra, and I brought that up, and there's a lot more conversation from sources like Andrew Huberman, right? But I've listened to Yoga Nidra tracks, and sometimes I've gotten what I feel is really fantastic result, and sometimes I've not, right? I've gotten distracted by the voice, and I've been really amped up, and I've been trying to calm myself, and then they're telling me to relax a certain body part, but I haven't gotten to that yet, right? Like I'm trying to do the head to toe, but they're getting onto the knees, whereas I'm still tight in the hips and I haven't really relaxed yet. So I feel like I'm pulled out of that state. Whereas the verbalization, like the actual words being omitted from NuCalm, I feel like this is really helping me because I'm not focused on understanding the language, keeping up with the language. I can just sit or lay close my eyes, focus on breathing, not count my breaths, not try to breathe in when they tell me, breathe out when they tell me. I just breathe and I slow it and I just feel myself relax. And then I'm just in it. Yeah, you're nodding along. Can you kind of riff on that, or
I
is
can.
that a common response for people?
Well, meditation was created 3,500 years ago. Talk about slow adoption. 3,500 years. Yoga, Tai Chi, deep breathing. These are all practices that are designed to downregulate your stress response and raise your rest and digest, put you in balance.
Mm.
The challenge I find, Eric, is most people can't do it. It takes practice, discipline. It takes consistency, persistence. It takes a lot. NuCalm takes nothing but time and a headphone and an eye mask. We'll do the work for you. So our work came in the form of medicine. On November 5th, 2009, we did our first surgical procedure. People being operated on, listening to our physics, rescue, 4
Mm.
hertz, with
Wow.
an eye mask and a headphone, being cut open in an operation with no general anesthesia. That's how we started.
Oh
We
my
built
gosh.
it for medicine, okay? We've done more than 2,700,000 surgical procedures replacing general anesthesia with people walking out of the hospital. So if you want to know how powerful this is, that's how powerful it is. But here's the challenge, especially in law enforcement. We've been working with elite military for 15 years. We've been working with veteran communities. The pace of your life and the challenge of law enforcement is different from a business challenge. On a business challenge, when you wake up, you have a calendar, you have events. Law enforcement's reactionary, and my foot needs to go on the accelerator at any moment. And a lifetime of that compromises my ability to get into balance because my brain's always thinking, when's the next alert? When's the next alert? When's the next alert? So this pace and this lifestyle of high stress, poor sleep, high stress, poor sleep, good luck.
Hmm.
Good luck trying to stop the chaos and find time in your life between your shifts and your family and your life and your exercise, all the things that you're going to do. It creates a Herculean challenge for anyone in law enforcement to be able to regulate. That's one of the things I appreciate about bringing NuCalm to law enforcement. If you look at the world and you look at American culture, if you step into service and want to protect, you want to serve, you don't get paid well. That's just life. Teachers, law enforcement, EMS, firefighting. We don't get the level of appreciation and pay that we deserve. You don't. But the lifestyle and the commitment and the service and the sacrifice is profound. So here we go. We bring this technology to say, listen, we're not here to judge you. We're not here to critique you. We're not here to do anything but just to throw you a piece of technology can allow you as a human to regulate the complexity of your brain. When you try to do yoga nandra and you try to do this and that and the other thing, and some days you're predictable and some days you're not. The only reason that the days aren't predictable, Eric, is that your stress response is too high.
Mm.
Your adrenal cortex is creating too much adrenaline and you're easily distracted. Your brain's thinking, Eric, we don't have time for this shit. We got a lot to do.
Exactly. Hmm.
So NuCalm doesn't, the beauty of this and why people have gravitated to it, there's no effort involved. We're going to do the work. We've been working with monks for 13 years. Monks use our technology, which seems crazy. You're like, you're a monk. But they'll say, hey, we're also human.
Hmm.
And this allows us to get into the state that allows us to be even better meditators. So nobody is impregnable to stress. There's not a single human on this earth that'll wake up any day of their life where stress doesn't come in some form. It doesn't work that way. And one of the cool things about technology is this is math and physics. It doesn't care. It just does its job. So you're going to have a predictable outcome with exceptional precision. When you put that headphone on, Eric, and you put the eye mask on and you hit rescue 20 VT, at minute 4, you're at 4 hertz. Every single time you do it,
Mm.
there's such a specificity to it. We launched this in 2009, but for the past 16 years, we've been innovating. We went NuCalm 2.0, NuCalm 3.0. We're constantly strengthening the efficacy of the product to make it easier, to make it better for you. So let's stop and just reflect on what a day would be like for law enforcement. You had a bad shift the night before, something trauma happened, you know it happened, you can deny that it happened, but really let's address it. You didn't sleep well that night. First thing you do is you get up, you use the bathroom, you get back in your bed. First thing, you do a 20-minute rescue. Why? Because that 20 minutes of rescue is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep.
Mm-hmm.
We will have made up for the sleep debt that you got that night before you didn't sleep well. We'll put you in a place where you're available, you're cognitively at your best, you're not weak and faking it till you make it. Then you get up, you get your uniform on, you head to the station, do your briefs, all that stuff. You go start going about your day. If you have to do paperwork, as Eric's alluded to, you put a headphone on, no eye mask, no laying down, and you put focus on. Focus takes your brain to 18.4 hertz. You literally sit and you do your paperwork and you're completely focused. Then you go about your shift. Say you have a little break. It's lunchtime. We have a lot of officers who literally go to their car in the parking lot, 20-minute rescue VT, just reset, restore, make me feel better. Before you go home, you can either do a rescue VT at the station in your car, or as soon as you get home, just reset. Get home, do a reset. If it's a day off or there's an opportunity for you to work out, you put Ignite in with in-ear buds. Ignite's going to increase your endurance and your strength. This is built for high-octane energy without energy drinks, sugary snacks, and all the things that people are using for working out. And then at bedtime, you put Deep Sleep on with a speaker, and we put you to sleep. If NuCalm can do nothing more to law enforcement than to restore your energy, to lower the stress response and anything associated with that, and to improve your sleep, imagine what your life would be like. Every morning, Eric, you wake up and you're like, wow, I feel amazing and I'm ready to go. Humans are amazing. And one of the challenges we have is we think we're immortal until we're like 25 or 26. And then we get into law enforcement and we work really hard. No pain, no gain. Day after day after day, year after year. That toll of high stress, poor sleep takes a toll.
Yep.
And in your 50s, you'll start noticing a body part or more hurts every morning. It's not if, it's which body part. You're not sleeping as well. Anxiety starts creeping in. Disease starts creeping in. Ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, just weird stuff. These are immunosuppressive consequences of a lifestyle that's high stress, poor sleep. We're going to solve that for you. And we're going to do it with ease. And as you've already started to learn, there's a cumulative benefit to this. And the more you do this, the more present and aware you are, the less triggered you are, the more mentally alert you are, and the better you're sleeping. Better sleep equals a better life, better performance, better everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a couple notes on what you walked us through. I love that day in the life and where you can inject these little doses that are really going to help you, one, recover, but also perform. And so the first is like recognizing that 20 minutes, right? A lot of us, we feel like we don't have time, but I think what we lack is intention. But you already said it right there. All you got to do is slap the headphones on, carve out 20 minutes, just sit there or just lay there. And if the headphones are a distraction for people that are like, well, we don't have a rest policy at work. And more departments are doing that. They have a nap or rest policy, which is fantastic. But maybe it's not like an over-the-ear headphones. Maybe you're accountable for the radio, but you can still listen to it, right? I've gotten some benefit from just putting it on a speaker, right? Like the Sonos speaker, or currently when I sleep, I don't sleep with the full headphones on, but it's on my phone. It's off to the side of the nightstand with some white noise from my air filter. So I get a little of that, both like that ambient noise that generally helps me. But going back to the 20 minutes, it's there's a lot of information, a lot of resources out there that talk about that short duration is not going to put you into that state where you wake up groggy, even if you kind of doze off, right? So you are still primed for performance. But I also love how you walked us through the day, the different types of modules you can do, but also that end of shift. And this is something I've talked about a lot, where if you're going and you get home late, generally for those that work swings or graveyard, for sure, like you're kind of on your own when you get home. And we think about a decompression process. And I'll even say a common one that's not the most unhealthy. I mean, I've shared how early years it was a beer or two. That was my decompression. more nights than not, right? And that did not serve me well. But even a more innocuous one, which would be coming down, sitting on the couch, grabbing some snacks, right? Now you're eating a lot of kind of hyper palatable food that's not really great for your digestion. A lot of times that really affects your sleep, right? You mentioned the rest and digest earlier. So rather than try to occupy ourselves because we're fatigued, we just want some sort of, kind of pleasure response, which is very human, as you brought up too. Just putting on a track, right? Just turning on the app, putting some headphones on, sitting on the couch. Maybe you're not ready to go to bed. Maybe your family's asleep upstairs. You don't want to make all the noise, but you can just have some water, sit down, get yourself into that rescue state, right? And I could visualize that being such a prime way to de, you know, just down regulate your system so that you are just ready to go right into bed and then have that restful night's sleep that you so badly need.
Please, if you're listening, you got to do something. I can tell you till I'm blue in the face that, high stress and poor sleep is going to lead to disease. We know this. 95 to 98% of every disease is caused by stress. But it's really up to you to say, you know what, I've had enough. I'm not going to live like this anymore. And this is a tool that's a lifestyle tool, and it fits into your life. And when people say to me, I don't have 20 minutes, I say, wow, that's interesting. You don't have 1/72nd of your day to take care of yourself?
Well,
Then
look
who
at
am
your
I to tell you?
phone. Ask your
Yeah.
phone how much screen time you're putting in, and I think the results will be very, very gripping. And it's some accountability, right? It's just a little bit of call out, call up, right?
I can tell you this, Eric, I'm quite pleased. 16 years we've been doing this. We do a lot of work in cancer. We do a lot of work in trauma. We do a lot of work in active military. We call it expedited recovery without drugs, putting these operators in peak performance state for mission readiness. But we also been working with the veteran community, any neurodegenerative disease you can think of, all the surgeries, professional athletes. I am liking the shift I'm seeing in law enforcement because people are starting to wake up that maybe no pain, no gain isn't the answer. Maybe sacrificing my health, my longevity, my resilience, maybe sacrificing my family dynamics isn't worth it anymore. And maybe there are things out there that can help me. So I look at NuCalm as a great tool. I like how easy it is, how seamless it does fit into your life. And there's not a lot of law enforcement and EMS and firefighters that are sophisticated practicing monks. So why don't we say here, we don't have to be. Let's
Yeah.
give you the tools that used to be the secret weapon of elite military, and they're right here for you. Do you have a headphone? Yes. Do you have an eye mask? Yes. Do you have a mobile device? Yes. Then we can help you. And you got to do it, especially we're coming into the holiday season. What comes with the holidays? More stress, more obligation, more expectation. Start taking care of yourselves now and bring in the new year when New Year's resolutions are obsolete by January 12th. Let's make this something different. And if peak performance and being a better performer is what drives you, ignite. There's anything in the app to take care of any personality profile. We just know at a high level, law enforcement and the reactionary lifestyle of your foot on the accelerator all the time has negative consequences, and we want to help. We're here to serve and protect the brain health of the brave men and women who protect us. That's what
Yeah.
we're here to do.
Absolutely. Well, that's fantastic, Jim. And everyone's going to be itching to learn where they can find out more. So I'll just say it right now. It's nucalm.co/grit, right? So NuCalm, nucalm.co/grit. And that's where you can find out more. You can get specials on the product for individuals and agencies, but also critically a free 7-day trial, right? So you can try it out for yourself. You can try it out for your teams and share it around. Jim, I want to turn it back over to you. People can find that in the show notes, but really, it's just what would you like to leave our listeners with? You've covered a lot of ground. We've gotten way more in depth than what I've even been able to learn, but also the last few weeks of trying it out myself and seeing that it does fit into my personality style, which is
Yes.
usually go go go. But you said it earlier, this stuff is hard. Like, it's hard to sit still. And a lot of times our types, we like to work hard. We are accustomed to leaning in and working harder and harder. Sometimes we got to work softer. Or sometimes we just got to carve aside the intention, do the thing, and just let the process go.
And if you do this, you're married, you got kids, you do rescue, which is the recovery one, and you do deep sleep at night, you do that for 7 days, I guarantee you that your family will notice a difference. I guarantee it. So I'm going to use my last minutes on something cool. It's called a promotion. Everybody loves a promotion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't love a promotion. I'm the CEO of the company. I don't want to give you guys a discount. Of course we're going to. So Eric mentioned the website, but right now we have a Black Friday sale. It'll go into a holiday sale. You can get our subscriptions. That used to be a $6,000 medical device just 4 years ago. Edge is the top popular subscription. It has access to all 6 products, from sleep to rescue and recovery to flow state to focus to high intensity ignite. Then you've got Sleep Suite, which is for stress management and sleep. And you got Performance Priming with Tony Robbins, which has sleep and ignite and rescue. Great. Now's the time. You got now until the end of the year with a great deal, but also Eric's negotiated a deal on top of the company's deal. So you're going to save the most you'll ever save. And every year around Black Friday, people, they want to make a difference in their life. They want a deal. And this is the perfect time to introduce this. And as Eric mentioned, we have a 7-day free trial. We know this technology works. It's served millions of people for 16 years. We don't need a sample size of 1, but some people either aren't ready or they literally don't feel like they need it.
Yeah.
That's not up to me to decide. But a 7-day free trial gives you the time, energy, and opportunity for you to see, is this good for me? How does it work? Do I like it? And do I want to make this part of my lifestyle? So please check out the NuCalm family. There's a ton of information on that website. We touched the surface today. I haven't found any audience in the world that didn't like learning about how their brain works. So it is fascinating. You can dive as deep as you want, or you can stay at the very high level. Just get the app, try it out. And happy holidays, everybody. You work hard. It's time for you to take a break, enjoy your family time, and be present for the ones who love you and need you the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And cops are skeptical, so that free trial is great, right? Like, when I got connected with you folks, I'm like, yeah, it sounds great. It sounds intriguing. This is all the stuff I'm super passionate about. Like, how do we lean into health and wellness and aid performance, recovery, all the things we need so badly? But I'm not just going to put my name on it and push it out there, with an affiliation without knowing for myself. And so I can speak to that for sure. And I think all cops they're smirking when they recognize like how skeptical we can be and how much of a realist we can be. So check it out for yourself for sure.
We're all about it, brother. We work with FedEx Pilots Union, Special Forces, the FBI, you name it. If you're skeptical, you seem to gravitate to NuCalm. I don't know why that is.
Well, there's something in that, right? Of all these organizations and high dialed in professionals where performance matters, performance is life and death. That resonates. Like we get it. We get it with our tech. We get it with our equipment, with our training. Absolutely. So, Jim, I'm stoked. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this deep wealth of knowledge. I'm excited for people to check it out for themselves. I'm sure I'm going to be hearing about it, how it's going, and that excitement is truly something else. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Blue Grit Radio. As always, support this community by subscribing, giving us a 5-star review, and following, liking, and sharing posts on Blue Grit Wellness on Instagram. You can reach me there or email me at bluegritwellness@gmail.com. Be well and stay gritty.